Hey everyone, I'm Mike Rollins with SIP Corporation, and this is a video on how to service your grinder. Today we're going to show you what to check when you have a fast traverse from side to side and have no control over its speed. It's usually an easy fix, and these are the things you can check. The first thing you want to do is listen for and trace a loud air leak while the carriage is moving quickly in one direction. One customer found a cracked airline and it was a 2-minute fix. Note, you will always hear air coming from the brass speed control needle valves in the control box when the carriage is traversing back and forth. That's totally normal. However, the brass speed control valves should not be leaking when the traverse is turned off. If one of them is leaking with everything turned off, then it needs to be replaced before we can move forward. You then want to open the rear component panel and listen for air leaks. If you hear anything, it's usually coming from these silver caps of the pneumatic solenoids, what we call the 301 valves and the 402 valve there in the middle. You should also check the base of each solenoid. There's a rubber gasket between the solenoid and the clear acrylic base. Make sure it's seated correctly and isn't leaking any air. You'll also want to inspect around this air pilot valve, what we call the heartbeat of the pneumatic system. Sometimes it has cracked air lines or a leaky fitting. It's definitely something you want to check for air leaks. If you don't have any obvious air leaks, then our first recommendation is to check the brass reversing valves in the front corners of the machine. The only time your reversing valve should be dumping air is when the reversing levers hit the stop collars on the reversing rod. We've also seen the reversing levers drag on the reversing rod, actuating the reversing valve before it hits the stop collar, causing a fast traverse, and that is usually caused by a loose lock nut on the reversing lever. After roughly 15 to 20 years of use, the reversing valves may have gotten some grinding dust or dirt stuck in the ejection port and it is stuck open. You can spray some clear silicone lubricant into the ejection port and blast it with some air to see if it reseats itself. Some people have even removed the brass valve from the grinder, cleaned it, put it back together, and then it was working fine again at 20 years old. If that's not the issue, we then recommend you swap the left 301 valve with the right 301 valve and see if your issue changes directions. If it did, then there's your answer. It's a bad 301 valve. The 301 valves are incredibly easy to swap and or replace. However, do not over torque the two Phillips head bolts into the clear acrylic base or you will crack the base. Ask me how I know. If you've made it through the reversing valves and the 301s, we then recommend you check around your carriage, travel, air cylinder for any leaks. We recommend you check the silver ribbon and the black end caps. You can even spray some soapy water around the ribbon and the end caps to see if you can spot any bubbles from leaks. If you haven't found a solution to this point, you have a bad air cylinder. What happens in the air cylinder is that over 15 to 20 years, the rubber U-cups on the bolt carrier can break down or even wear a flat spot in the top there, allowing air to pass by, causing your fast traverse. There's no longer an airtight seal. Another cause may be the O-rings on the black end caps have broken down and they're allowing air to pass by. You can call us and we'll ship you a rebuilt cylinder. We don't charge you for labor, only parts. Once you receive your rebuilt air cylinder, you can send us your old one back for a core charge. We also have a video on how to remove your carriage travel air cylinder and how to install the rebuilt air cylinder that we sent you.